So good afternoon all. Welcome to this webinar on unlocking the lockdown. There are so many issues, but we are going to discuss in panel discussion. Before that, we are playing ICAI Moto song.
हेलो हेलो अंकित भाई चल रही आई ना अपना लिंक पर 90s कोड नहीं कोई जरा આપણે છે નહીં કોઈ ઓકે એવું છે એપ્સિલોન ઓકે ઓકે હા 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 આપો 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 645 So friends, we all were thinking that this lockdown situation, how it arrives or emerges, because we all were never prepared for such type of lockdown, and it's completely something new. What we can say in Punjab, someone say that there is some new officer who is coming, that is social distancing, and people are finding out, try to find out. That is what we are. But as you like way of thinking, everybody is basically tense how this lockdown will be unlocked. And now we are having our expert panelist. So first of all, I welcome M.R. Venkatesh on this panel discussion, then Mr. C.A. Suresh MK, and our own Central Council member, C.A. Aniket Talati sir. Sir, thank you very much for coming on this platform and in this current situation where we need to discuss and deliberate how this locking will be unlocked and what are the repercussions. Now I request Chairman of Ahmedabad branch, C.A. Phoenix Shah, to give his words of wisdom. Thank you. Thank you, Vishen bhai. Respected panelist, M.R. Venkatesh from Chennai, CA MK Suresh and our old Central Council member from Aniket Talati. As we are having a very stringent time limit, I'll not take much, but I just want to convey to all the viewers right now that very important session we are having right now, an equally important session we are having in the evening on various issues associated with within and the code of ethics, which is going to be implemented from 1st of July. So not having much more announcements, but I request all the attendees, if you have not still joined for that, kindly join for that. And if I say that, friends, right now we are facing lockdown, but it is not lockdown. We are in a lockdown. So during this scenario, we need to make the best use of work from home. We need to work on garnering our skills. We need to sharpen our strengths, and we need to work on weaknesses. But when we are working on all of this, what if we come to know that what is going to happen after the lockdown ceases? If we come to know about those scenarios, then in that situation, when we are working in lockdown, we can channelize our skills on working of that. And on that, we are having the best panelist with us right now. I take a pleasure of introducing the very first panelist, Mr. C.A. M.R. Venkatesh. He is a chartered accountant and a leading advocate practicing in New Delhi. He has written n number of books, but few which are very best from that is a handbook of anti-dumping, a book on capital account convertibility, a book on global imbalances, an impending dollar crisis, a book on Sensex and sentiments. He is also faculty associated with various universities, Chamber of Commerce, and various other organizations. There is a long list of M.R. Venkatesh ji, but I'm not taking time because once we hear him, we will understand that we are having a glad opportunity, rarest of the rare, to have him on the platform. I hand over the charge to our secretary, Kishan Bhai, to further introduce the rest of the faculties.
Sir, thank you. Thank you for your remarks and introduction of MRV. MRV, we are thank you so much for coming on our platform. Now I introduce CA Suresh MK. He is a senior management professional with 35 years of progressively responsible for transformation and corporate finance and strategic management experience. Qualified as a chartered and also cost and management accountant with proven ability in finance function, he is currently working as director in EY Global, focusing on finance transformation. Thank you, Sureshji, for coming on this platform, and with such a short notice, you given your assent. Friends, you all know that Mr. Talati is not required any introduction. काफी नाम ही काफी है. Aniket bhai, we welcome you and we hope to hear a lot from you, which will definitely release our stress in this lockdown. So now I request Aniket bhai to please say some your thoughts and views how this lockdown is going to be forward and what a chartered accountant is required to do in such a lockdown. When this lockdown is there, how what should be the chartered accountant's face for unlocking the same? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bishan bhai. First of all, let me give my heartiest compliments and congratulations to the entire team of Ahmedabad branch, the chairman Fenil bhai, secretary Bishanji, all other managing committee members in absentia. And actually, it is a great matter of great pleasure for me to have two stalwarts addressing along with me in this session. MRV sir, if you recollect, exactly last year you were here in Ahmedabad. It's we are almost touching 1 year, and Piyush Goyal ji at that day was here in Ahmedabad, and we had the opportunity to hear you in person. I think the times have changed. I would say for the better. You are not traveling, but we still have the pleasure of your thoughts and your entire expression. So it will be great for us to have you. Sureshji, I welcome you also to Ahmedabad, and my most compliments to the entire team of Ahmedabad. I think in this situation, when we are all in that lockdown, where we are considering ourselves tied into our homes, and somewhere there is a feeling of negativity that comes in, that when do I go out, when do things get back to normal, that thought process is there in each one's mind. You have come out with a very positive subject and a topic, which is in the form of how do we unlock the lockdown. And I think that lockdown is not a physical lockdown. In my personal opinion and my view, it is more of a mental lockdown that we all have. And first, before the government lifts the physical lockdown, that is slated to end on 14th, I don't think anybody can second guess the Prime Minister in this country. He will look at the situation, make his own assessment, and decide if it is to be further, extended, or there has to be a phased removal of the lockdown. How do we do it? Public faces. I think it is going to be a decision that will be taken from the top, and I think we all trust the acumen, the intelligence, and more importantly, the understanding capability of our Prime Minister to assess this situation. So the physical lockdown may be April 15th, maybe May 1, maybe even May 15th, we do not know. But I think today what we can try and do is at least unlock our mental lockdown and not consider this phase of our life where we are stuck in our homes to be a lockdown of mental capabilities or even a restriction. But let's try and use these days to make sure that how we can improve on our skills, so increase the positive part of ours, and we understand where we are going wrong, what are the negatives, and try and reduce that. I think if that period is spent in self-analyzing and making sure that we can assess what are our strengths, improve our skill sets, and work on that, and be at the other end, try and reduce whatever limitations we may have. I think this lockdown can prove an immense multiplier for all of us, because as soon as the things get back to normal, and believe me, this is my personal belief, things will never go back to the old normal. It is going to be a normal that we all will have to adjust with. I don't think in the near future we are all going to be comfortable in a small hall with 200, 250 people. Maybe earlier we were extremely happy and socializing in that atmosphere. For the short to medium term, I don't think that is going to be an atmosphere that we would as an individual want to go into. And I think it's not appropriate also, being chartered accountants considered to be the knowledge drivers of this economy, for us to expect things to go back. But having said that, how do we still use that to make sure that we can still skill ourselves and upgrade ourselves? I think the institute is providing us with some wonderful platforms. The branch is doing it here in Ahmedabad. At the central level, we have the digital learning hub, where we are going to provide all CPE material to our members online, available to them at their fingertips. I'm happy to share with you that council is now even allowing all certificate courses to be done online. So you will no longer be going to the hotels or the classrooms and attending those programs. All those specialized courses will be available online. And like it is always said, threats and challenges deliver more opportunities for us. And as a council, we have decided that how do we convert this threat into an opportunity. And believe me, friends, the doctors as professionals are right now in the front line, but our role of chartered accountants is going to be extremely critical. And we will also be called Corona warriors, because we will have to play a very critical part once the lockdown is lifted, in consulting our clients, in consulting all the people who we are meeting, and telling them how they can go back to their normal ways of doing business. What are the opportunities that they have? The government has come out with one great scheme of deferment of deadlines, other bank finance opportunities. There will be other opportunities that will come up. Let's try and create and ensure that in this space, we are able to upgrade our knowledge skills, so that when the lockdown is lifted and people are looking to restart their business, let's believe in the spirit of India. We can fight back. It may be a downward curve right now in terms of the growth and the economy that we are feeling. But always remember, if you have a hand here and you are dropping from here, you can always put another hand and you can always jump higher. I think we have the opportunity. Let us be the other hand which joins and brings the economy up. We can definitely have a V-shaped recovery in the economy, in the industry, and chartered accountants will have a big role to play. So with these thoughts, I think I would like to start this discussion, and I congratulate once again the branch for giving us this opportunity. To my chartered accountant friends and colleagues who are in practice, let's use this to upgrade our skills. The future is in technology, the future is in AI, the future is in data analytics. If you have been left out, if you feel that when I studied my accounting, I learned the accounting standards, what have I to do with Ind AS? This is a brilliant opportunity for you to learn Ind AS. If you were doing service tax and you did not bother to learn about GST, there are so many courses available where you can upgrade yourself to GST. So as myself, first charity begins at home. Let's upgrade our own skills. And then, like I said, the second opportunity will be with the clients, which will not only give us the satisfaction of being a partner in nation building, but also give us great professional opportunities. I think this is how I see unlocking the lockdown happening. I would now request Bishan Bhai to take this forward in terms of a panel discussion. And I think wherever there are any questions that you have for all the panelists, Bishan Bhai, or if the participants have, we'll be happy to take them.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Aniket Bhai, for your words. And as you have said, that doctors are playing a great role. And as doctors of business or commerce, we chartered accountants are required to play a much greater role for our clients, to advise them, to guide them in such a difficult situation. As yesterday, Vinay Bhai, Ahmedabad branch has organized a webinar on work from home, and the faculty also said that how we should evolve in such a situation. Now coming to MRV, how you see this situation of lockdown? What will be the economic cost of this lockdown, if you can deliberate on?
Bishan Bhai, if you look at it, the GDP of this country is around 180 lakh crores. That is give or take 5-10 lakh crores this way, that way. So 180 lakh crores is what the country earns over 52 weeks. And per week, you will be earning around 3.6 lakh crores. So on a lockdown of 3 weeks, the loss will be around 9 lakh crores. And assume that you still start working from 15th of April. To achieve peak productivity will take some more time. The loss of which will be around another 9 lakh crores is my estimate. So on a 180 lakh crore GDP, there will be a loss of around 18 lakh crores. That means 10% of the GDP will record a fall. Now, assume, let us not complicate further. Let us assume this happened on 31st March 2020. At a 5% growth, to recover this minus 10% will roughly take 2 years. So by March 22, I see that you will be on par with the GDP of 2020. So this will be the what I will call as the debit in the P&L account of country of India. So to recover it, it will going to take a pretty long time. Business is not going to be normal. We are going to see a new normal. So, and this is as what Ronald Rumsfeld said, this is an unknown unknown. Nobody knows what is in store, because otherwise you can always extrapolate the past into the future. But this time it's going to be different. We are all going to be in an unformatted hard disk. We are going to get something totally new. We don't know what is the syllabus. Usually we don't know the question paper. Here we don't know the syllabus. So we are going to find it difficult to handle it. But I'm sure the ingenuity of the average Indian, the jugaad, the enterprise, and of course the great spirituality that drives the nation will see us through, and will and I'm sure will bounce. What I'm seeing is the bounce back is again based on past experiences, and if really we are able to do some macroeconomic rejigs, as Mr. Talati said, we are able to do some wonderful technological backups, invest more in technology, and also believe in the entrepreneurship of the average Indian. I think the bounce back can be much faster.
Second question, if I can post it, it will be to Sureshji. Sureshji, what changes are required so far as attitude and behavior of the persons are concerned in this lockdown? If you can discuss on the same.
I think already Mr. Aniket alluded to this earlier. Unlocking your potential. And I always see CA as not an accountant, more as a trusted business advisor to the business, to the clients, and to the economy and to the nation. So what does it really mean is develop the skill set of critical thinking. And one of my famous examples is about having this mindset of reversing the assumptions. What I mean by that is, if I take a couple of examples to prove this. Typically, when you see, why do you use a watch? People say watch is for using the time. And when I ask, typically, what do you use a phone for? You just say making calls. So this was the attitude back in 80s, 90s. But you look at this, reverse that assumption. Watch is not for the time, or phone is not for calls. It opens out your complete innovation. Today, phone can do a lot many things a computer can do. It is just not making calls. And watch, today the wearable device can pretty much mimic a phone. So when we get into this era of uncertainty, unprecedented times, what we need to do as a CA is to say that reverse that assumptions. Okay, what was not the normal? We say, okay, how do we really go into a different kind of thought process? And how can we, advise our clients? I know MRV alluded to the loss of, the GDP growth in the next 8 to 10 weeks. But there is other hidden benefits behind this. we talk about the productivity improvement, which is happening in the service sector. Because for the last 3 weeks, I've been sitting at home and I've been performing through this remote servicing. And I can see distinctly myself where there's enormous increase in productivity. I don't have to travel to office, I don't have to travel to the client, but I can really use the time to enhance it. So there is an underlying benefit to this, and these things are not going to go away, because what we need to do is learn from the history. No viruses or no diseases in the past have been eradicated except for smallpox, and that existed for a number of years, and then we did this. And so this is not going to be eradicated soon. Until you find a vaccine, is going to take a long time. So to Anikit's issue, he was saying, how do we live this new normal? How do we adapt to this change? How do we educate our people to change? That is the crux of this thing, and this is where the CA can play an important role in having these mindset changes.
Sir, I pose one question, that what should be the role of chambers of commerce, or you can say the industry, or you can say the association, or what kind of role we as an institute or branches should play? Because I think so that collective efforts and we as a regulator can guide the people at the most. So what kind of role we should play in this scenario to come out of this situation which we are facing right now?
So is this a question to me?
Sir, anyone,
Okay.
MRV.
Okay. Let me make an attempt. So talking from the previous themes of unprecedented times and changing times, all of these are going to have unintended consequence, and which you probably could not imagine. Let's assume for a minute, what happens if the migrant workers don't come back to work and they are well settled in the agriculture sector? Quite a possibility. So what do we do with that? So that gives opportunity for the manufacturing to think about it, step back. Okay, should I go into modular manufacturing, or should I take manufacturing to people instead of people to manufacturing? That's a big difference in what we do this. So can we move the manufacturing to more rural areas? And that's one aspect of the manufacturing. What about the IT sector? IT has a big role to play, because as we all see, this is enabling people to work remotely. And there's going to be a lot of investment happening in this space, and your Chamber of Commerce can play a critical role in developing that. Chamber of Commerce can play a critical role in promoting the pharmaceutical industry, the hospitals, because these are the most needed industry in the next coming months, coming weeks. So how can we promote the research to create a vaccine? Why can't we be the leader in the world, finding the first to create a vaccine or first to create a therapeutic medicine for this disease? So that's critical part they can play. The other unintended consequence, what we need to be doing because of the social distancing, where we are looking at the office space. If you go to any office, you see people sitting in 3x3, 4x4 next to each other. Now that's not going to be the thing of the future. Now you may have changes in law coming in, enforcing social distancing. Have you ever thought about it? So what are we going to talk about the utilization of space as versus the people? So what alternative use can we do this? So it is the Chamber of Commerce, instead of waiting for things to happen, start thinking on these lines and promote these industries and provoke more critical thinking by the industry and come to this solution and has come to an approach where whatever MRV listed out on terms of the loss of these GDP, can we do a catch-up?
Right, sir. So thank you, sir. So I request MRV sir that what our role should be that as a CA specific, that is for our profession in this scenario.
See, as I said, for instance, we don't have an accounting standard for pandemic period. In the sense, there's no guidance note or AS telling us that how we should account, especially on 31st March, when we were neck deep into this problem. Mark to market is going to be a huge problem in valuations. And many of chartered accountants are going to certify balance sheets, are going to find it difficult to say it's going to be a going concern, when historically, yes, it was going concern. But given the situation, say in the month of March and April, It is virtually when banks are not going to be in the normal mode to certify them to be going concern, when countries themselves are not in going concern concept. So how do we factor it in our reports? Now this is going to be a challenge also for the Central Council, because there could be a spate of cases on certification of or audit reports coming out in the disciplinary committee. For starters, I'm saying this because this is going to be a new normal, and so chartered accountants probably have to look at two ways. One is look at it. You have to also factor in technology, and you can say probably explain the change in technology to a guy like Suresh or Mr. Talati very easily. They may understand it. But to go to make this understand to your normal MSME sector, and make this frugal frugal acceptance, or what we call as frugal engineering, which is accepted in India. India has got a beautiful way. You convert washing machines into lassi churning machines, and give lassis out of it. But so you have the native ability is there, but to capture it and to make it a viable thing is going to be much a bigger challenge for chartered accountant. The third thing I see is that the travel industry, the airline industry, which are the biggest revenue generators in terms of unorganized labor and what is called as the Bhagidari system in our parlance, is going to be the biggest hit. And these are the people who are also linked to the chartered accountancy profession in terms of tax returns. They're the 2 crore, 3 crore, 5 crore assessees who are your main component. They are going to be massively hit. Now, how fast you resurrect them is going to result in your resurrection, in your professional as well as your economical resurrection. So you cannot be diverse from their fate, and you have to work in tandem with them. The last but not the least is a long term. As Suresh said and alluded to, was that we may have augmented reality, artificial intelligence, all these things which will be hastened. It will not. These coronavirus, I see actually a hastening process of a host of new technologies that is going to come in. And for instance, I see that you will not be allowed to go into the road. Forget having a room of 200 people where you will have chartered accountants addressing each other. You will not be allowed to go into the road if this virus goes on, unless you have a certificate from the doctor that you are coronavirus free, and that certificate will be like a visa to go into the streets for 7 days. Now, I'm only thinking about an extreme situation. I'm only giving this as what are all the situations that can actually pan out. And so if you are going to come and sit down in, say, Suresh's office and going to share a workspace, there will be a methodology of allowing me into his office only when I give a biometric controlled, Aadhaar card controlled linkage, which is going to say that I am virus free. Until such time, his office door will not open. He may like to open his office, but for the technology, this may all be centrally controlled. Now that we have got an Aadhaar linkage, these are all things that probably we may also have to think in suggestion to the chartered accountants. May have to think about giving this as a suggestion to the government. And government also is very keen to get these type of advices. Though I gave a very extreme example, so don't take it that tomorrow morning this is going to happen. But only I'm going to say the space that leaves around in terms of technological and control absorption in the society is going to be humongous, because we are not going to see we are not going to see the same old India of February 2020 or May 2020, but from April or May, when the lockdown is lifted, we are going to see a totally different ballgame. So be prepared for it, and the person who is going to adapt fast is going to be the winner.
So if I can
let me, Bishan bhai, if you permit me to add, just 2-3 things, and I think excellent points raised by both Suresh ji and MRV. Let me just update them regarding 2-3 things. MRV, you very rightly mentioned the challenges that will happen as of 31st of March. And thankfully, this year as the council, we realized this in advance. And we have for the first time come up with not a guidance note, but an exhaustive guidance on the effects of coronavirus. And we have not restricted ourselves just to the accounting aspect, but also the auditing aspect of this coronavirus. And I'll give you an example. Inventory, historically, we've all taken on 31st March. This year, 31st March, there was no chance of anybody going and taking physical inventory. So there are other measures which are given in the standard which provide for working back or going forward. So we have given guidance on what you can do whenever you get the opportunity to do the inventory, or what are the alternate measures that are available in that standard. Similarly, you very rightly alluded to the challenge of valuation. There is going to be the biggest challenge of impairment that will hit a lot of companies, and auditors will face a challenge of how do you then attest that financial statements and whether you are in a position to actually give an unqualified opinion. For that, I've always been giving this advice to everybody around, whichever chartered accountants, they may be in industry or they may be doing audit. And my suggestion to them is try and finish the books as earlier as possible. There was a suggestion that change the year end to June or to December. I think that will only increase the pain and the bleeding. As of today, you have an opportunity to at least be reasonably certain about certain assumptions of going concern, like you rightly raised. 6 months, if things don't open, you will have a much bigger concept in terms of the amount that you will have to take in effect. So I am happy to actually effectively close on March, and would suggest that clients and chartered accountants alike should stick to that. On the other aspect, Fainal bhai, that you mentioned of what we should do as a council or as a chamber, yesterday we have had an internal meeting, and MRV sir rightly suggested, he has given some suggestions. What we want to do as the institute is submit to the government, and I don't want to give complaints because we have to be seen different from the role of the auditor who finds the mistake and move to the role of solution provider. And I think with so much experience with 330,000 chartered accountants, I am looking, and we will very soon come out through the Accounting Research Foundation, a research paper on what should be done to revive the economy, to bring back the animal spirit, and what are the short-term and medium-term solutions that the government should work on. I have received some great suggestions from some chartered accountants in Ahmedabad. Let me give you some small examples. There is stamp duty that is charged, for example, on loans. Now people are looking at extending new loans, getting a new term loan, or moving from one bank to the other. Why can't state governments for this 1 year period waive off or put a token stamp duty? This is one suggestion. Similarly, there are suggestions that GST, which is paid on accrual basis, can for 4 or 5 months, can you shift it to a payment basis? Because today if I invoice, I don't know if I will collect, and to expect me to pay 18% out of my pocket at this time, maybe actually, if I can use the word criminal as far as professionals are concerned. So why can we not think of these things? I think if as a community, we come forward with these positive suggestions, and with the leadership that we have at the center, I'm sure these can be taken positively and will be considered positively.
Thank you, Aniket bhai. Now, if I summarize from what Suresh ji said and Venkatesh added, that in case of manufacturing industries, so if we are having a current example of Jyoti CNC, who were into manufacturing of CNC machines or machinery manufacturer, they invented a ventilator. And now they are starting manufacturing ventilators. So every organization or every business has to think something and try to have some innovation, and accordingly they can't say that I am in a lockdown situation. They have to go ahead, they have to think something, and they have to start something new to adjust with the current scenario, and that's how unlocking of the lockdown can be happen. Now if I say that, sir, looking to this scenario, what will be the situation of a logistic, or I can say that what MRV said, that how this logistic and travel, say railways or airlines, can be those industries, how they can be unlocked. If you, Suresh ji, if you can throw some light, or MRV.
Emma, you want to go first?
No, Suresh, you can go.
Okay. So the impact on logistic is going to be immense because of this social distancing and in order to prevent the spread of this disease. So people are resorting to online remote access, whether it is an office, whether it is a learning, or the thing like what we are doing today is in terms of imparting education, right, and sharing our knowledge. So that is going to be the in thing. So you can't expect the travel industry or your hotel industry are going to bounce back. Now, what can we do as an alternative for these industries to come back? So one of the things which I gave some ideas earlier was we have been running shortages of beds in the hospitals. Can we convert some of the hotels into kind of mini hospitals and start quarantining people or start providing some help in isolation? So how by that we can also provide opportunity for people in the hotel industry to start teaching them on some basics of nursing and basics some patient care. So you are providing an alternative career to some of these people because this is going to be in great demand for the next few weeks, few months, because there's going to be immense need, and we are already seeing shortages of these people. So the government needs to be a little proactive on that and start training those, especially the hospitality industry, to cater to this aspect. But for the travel industry to recover, it is going to take some time. But what can we do? We are going to be on remote basis. What happens to the entertainment business, which is dependent on traveling? Yes, you have to start thinking out of your box and start saying, okay, how can I bring this augmented reality and start having the same experience in your drawing room rather than taking a jeep out and go on a safari? So that's some of those innovative things you can start thinking about, and that will be the order of the day. Now, for schools and colleges, as I said before, this online learning is going to be the order of the day. So those are some of my initial thoughts.
Right, sir.
If you want to add something on it.
MRV?
See, let me take to the macroeconomic scenario, my passion, and I have suggested to the Prime Minister also that for the next 6 months we must suspend prudential norms. There is no point in saying that in a room of say 6, I can say Bishan Bhai is NPA and all of us are kosher. But in a room where all of us are NPA, where is the question of your NPA being better than my NPA? So all of us are going to be NPAs. So today, once upon a time, we had Kingfisher NPA, Jet NPA. Today, you see the entire airline industry is going to be NPA. The entire hotel industry is going to be NPA. The entire travel industry is going to be NPA. So the knockdown effect, the cascading effect is going to be on a tremendous amount of industry. I think for next 6 months, we should not have this 3 months norm for determining NPA. And if Mr. Talati, you can, when you're making a recommendation from the institute, please see for 6 months it is not there. And then you gradually bring it in by bringing first the 6 month norm and then the 3 month norm, so that it is phrased in by say 2022 or 2023. We do not throw the baby with the bathwater. The second thing I would also like to see, if the as you very rightly said, sir, that the payment of GST may be suspended, and probably the second half we can start collecting whatever has to be paid in February can be paid along with the October due in October. What is to be paid in the month of May can be paid in the month of November. Interest also is chargeable. I think the government can charge 7.5% interest. And this will automatically, without going to the bank, it will be a government largesse to the small and medium sector, and that will improve the cash flow of people without going to the bank, without showing any paper, without giving any collateral. Just if you are having a GST number and you file your returns and say that this is my payable, but I will retain the cash and I am ready to pay 7.5% interest also, this would go a long way. And the third thing that needs to be done, and I have suggested to this also, government requires a 5 lakh crore fund on the total in the aggregate at this point in time. The numbers may vary. So how can you raise 5 lakh crores? 5 lakh crores amount can be raised by ensuring you cut your interest cost. The interest cost debited to the consolidated fund is around 7 and 7.5 lakh crores. 20% cut, you get 1.5 lakh crores. 20% of the salary cut of the government, you will get 1 lakh crores. And yesterday, the parliament, the cabinet has passed certain ordinances. They are trying to work on all these things. Probably we need to see how good fast the government can augment resources in the aggregate of 5 lakh crores. To that, we require long planning, and also simultaneously the animal spirit has to be unleashed. So unleash the animal spirit while also holding on to the Keynesian model is going to be a very tough thing. You can have a Keynesian model, you know, you can say government will do everything, then that is okay, but you won't have growth. But if you also want to have growth, a rapid growth, which means that you will have to unleash the entrepreneurial skill while simultaneously take care of the poor, take care of the needy, take care of the downtrodden, take care of those who are in the subsistence period of their life. We have to also ensure government is able to spend. So to that extent, it is going to be a piston-like approach that the government has to do. Government has to play the role of the father. Government has to play the role of the mother. Mother in providing succor to the poor, and father in ensuring that the growth is revived. Let us not lose track of the growth project. So with this, I will pass on to Mr. Bishop.
Sir, so now if I can summarize that these industries which are not be allowed in short period of 3 to 6 months, as we discussed that the cinemas, hotel, restaurant, air travel, and some sort of railways or mobile entertainment, a school or college. So for a school or colleges are concerned that they are going to start online platforms, and that's why this unlocking can be possible. So far as the cold drinks and mithai wala, as there are advisories from the medical professionals that you should not get those cold drinks, or I can say ice creams or milkshakes or this mithais. Then in that case, one of our client, I share the example that they try to come out with the solution of manufacturing cookies or protein cookies or health cookies. Who are the manufacturers of this cold drinks? They are now thinking on those angles. So that's how people have to unlock their locking. So far as the construction industry is concerned, I don't know these migrants and how it's going to be unlocked, and even religious places, they are also going to be locked down. Yes, Vinay, can you add something?
Yeah, a specific question to MRV, sir. Sir, what about the stock markets? If you can just guide. When everything is closed, still markets are working.
I know I'm talking to a lot of Gujarati friends, so it's very dangerous to talk about stock market. But be that as it may, my view was that the stock market should have been shut down when a couple of weeks back for some time, because there's no point when the stock market is supposed to be a derivative of the real economy. The real economy is shut down. There's no point in seeing your stocks being bled day in, day out. I don't know how. In fact, last night I heard that the Dow Jones has gone up by 7%, and this morning again the Bombay Stock Exchange, BSE index has also gone. Sensex has gone up by 1,000 odd points. Frankly, this looks to be a very dicey game. This is not something that I'm very comfortable, because the stock market can go up and come down. That's not the problem. But these are all some sort of an extraordinary event where the real economy has itself come to a grinding halt. And to say that the stock market alone will function and reflect, and the answer I was given was that liquidity is important and speculation has to be maintained. When deliveries not more than 3,000 to 5,000 crores are happening per day, I don't think so. It was very prudent. But SEBI being SEBI, it is supreme. As far as the regulator is supreme, we bow in all humility. Though we believe that it was not appropriate on the part of SEBI to have allowed stock markets to function. That's my personal view.
So what you suggest that stock market should be shut down. But if I can have some thoughts of Aniket Bhai, if you can deliberate on this.
Vishen, just a minute. Vishen, if really you could not have shut down the markets, the alternative was that you can ban short sales and genuine liquid sales could have been allowed, meaning delivery based businesses could have still continued. people who are requiring money for, say, liquidating their stocks or their mutual fund holdings would have still be allowed, provided it is on delivery base. But what is happening is that there is enormous amount of short selling that is happening in the market, and that is fearing also. See, already we are having great amount of physical distress, great amount of financial distress. On top of it, to have stock market distress is something that I thought we could have avoided at this point in time. That's the point I was making.
So I think I can totally agree with these, the concluding remarks MRV gave, and I, totally endorse it. See, stock market has to have a price discovery mechanism. Your dollar barrel of oil, which was hitherto trading at 50, has gone to as low as 20. So the Reliance share could not have traded at 2000. It had to correctly reflect that difference. So right now, if it is at 1000, I think it's a fair discovery. But having said that, in the same breath, I totally endorse what MRV said, the speculation, this short selling, which has brought down such a steep fall in the markets and actually eroded, past 10 years, if you look at it, most salaried people or even professionals, what they were doing is investing in the stock market and SIPs, because your fixed deposits and other forms of investment were not that viable. And now for them to take a double dip, that your business is down, your income is down, and to have a passive income also go down so aggressively, I think it is going to be a huge double dip where our the community at large is going to face a huge problem. I totally endorse what MRV sir has said, but like I said, let's look at the positive also from this. And I can just give one simple example of a positive for us as professionals, I believe, which can come out. And I would request Suresh sir to please add on to this. Is what will happen in my perception today, and I do some amount of foreign work, outsourcing work also at KPOs, where the new culture is going to be that co-working is not going to be as sacrimonious as it used to be, that you need to be in the office and work from this desk, from this office. Today, people who are working in a London office, he has an employee who's working in Nottingham, in maybe in Ireland, in some other place, and still performing. And the question, not today, but 6 months from now, people will ask us, if the person sitting at his home in London or Nottingham can work for the London office 500 kilometers away, 50 kilometers away, then why not sitting in Chennai, Bangalore, or Ahmedabad 5,000 kilometers away? I think that is going to be a huge game changer and potential. I believe that IT sector, had a big wave in the 2000s. They will still continue to have it. But we as accountants and other professionals, not just accountants, but engineers, doctors, other professionals, because of the sheer size of our population and the amount of people who have education on this aspect, I think we can convert this into an opportunity and not restrict our services. And this is again a medium to long-term target, but within India. But I think going forward, Sureshji, you would agree that the services of Indian enterprise, especially the service sector, can be spread wide across the globe.
Anikilji, you hit the nail on its head. Actually, what we need should be enabling.
I'll just add some questions on the same industry, that what will be the BPOs and KPOs future, because data security will not be that much when you are working from home. So if you can add data security aspect also, that will be much better. Thank you.
Thank you. So as I was saying, Anikilji hit the nail on its head. The remote working is going to be the order of the day. So I can give an example of our own organization, Ernst & Young, and I'm sure others are doing as well. Out of about 180,000 employees globally, now today I can say 120,000 of them are working remotely. We have the US shutdown, we have the India shutdown, and then we have the UK shutdown, we have the Italy, Spain, I can name all of them have shut down, but we have not closed business, we are still operating. So even yesterday, since I was working on an US work, I was working till 3 in the morning to cater to one of the US clients. So that has really become the order of the day. So there is no bars from anybody sitting in India not have the ability to work for the global clients. So that should be enabled. So I think more and more people are doing it. And as luck would have it, just before we started the lockdown, before the coronavirus hit us big time, we enabled the Microsoft team as one of the key tools for us to go and start teaming and do about this. So it has been globally launched, and now we are working through these teams. I'm sure many other organizations will follow suit. Now, To the point, Vishen, you raised it on the data privacy. So even today, there is a data privacy, but today, because of the physical location, you have certain restrictions. There are BPOs and KPOs who prevent you taking your mobile phone in, and then you work and so on and so forth. But this has to change. You have to look on your self-compliance and start monitoring through a centralized mechanism. What I mean by that is given an example. Let's say you unusually swipe your card on some retail outlets, which is not a new norm. Then somebody from your bank calls you and say, "Did you really spend the money?" I'm sure all of us have experienced that. How does that happen? That happens because you are tracking unusual behavior. Now, a similar model needs to be established in a corporate environment, especially when you're doing services. When I'm transferring a data to somebody, not really my client or somebody. So if I'm breaching the confidentiality, you should have a red warning going on and somewhere somebody watching this. So we put something in place which I can share is that when I transfer a file to an email which is unknown, immediately a pop-up happens and people ask you, is it your personal data which you're transferring? Is it company's data? If it's company data, are you transferring to your client or somebody else? Now there is based on your response, it gets logged and there is a compliance going on. And if you breach it, you'll be punishable. So we need to establish this as a new model and as a kind of a template for others to follow. So once you get the data's part done, and then once you provide your technology and the application to support this, I don't think there is no going back. The new norm will be you're working from home. And that's why I said the unintended consequences, so much of release of office space. Now we start thinking about how do I use that?
So unlocking can be possible in case of BPO and KPOs by a reduction of renting cost and also spaces, but your surveillance might be much more. That is what and how we can go ahead for
Exactly.
this.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
I think so,
Can I add
Vishen,
something?
now we can have a last question. That is what should be the direct tax relaxations, MRV, sir, specifically for the economy?
See, before that, just let me allude to you something very interesting. In our office, only one section we are looking at is section 56 of the Contract Act, which is on supervening impossibility. And we are doing great amount of research, and all your force majeure clause we are looking at for our clients and seeing how they have defined. Most of the force majeure is on earthquake, war. There is one client which has defined rainfall to such an extent to say that a particular rainfall in a particular year, particular rainfall in 6-month period, in a 3-month period, all this constitutes force majeure. But none of them have ever included pandemic or a close down of this nature. So we have to go back to what we read in our inter classes. Krell versus Henry was the case law which talked about section 56 of the Contract Act and about supervening impossibility. Begin with that. So you have to go back to your inter and start doing your inter all over once again. And as far as the taxation is concerned, I have been a strong votary that we have come to a stage where taxes are not a price that we pay for civilization, right? If we want to do a resurrection of the Indian civilization, we have to look beyond civilization. We have to look beyond taxation. We have to definitely look, especially direct taxes is not the way to do things. We have to restructure our government expenditure. We have to resurrect our taxation reforms. In fact, I was doing a research for my book. You would be surprised to know that between August 2019, November 17, 1947 and December 5, 1947, just within 18 days, the Constituent Assembly debate was finished on the entire taxation system. The taxation system of this country is dependent on 3 people discussing for 18 days, and which was nothing but a rehash of the Government of India Act 1935, and that was where we are lacking. We are lacking an indigenous thinking. We are lacking a complete going back to the roots and find out whether taxes are required. How, if so, how much? How much must the center take it? How much must the state take it? This again this coronavirus is a God-given opportunity to revisit it, to see whether just a mere 1.5 crore people. Now, after the new threshold limit of 5 lakhs has been brought in, I'm told not more than 1.5 crore people are going to pay direct taxes, individual personal taxes. That means just 1%, or just slightly more than 1% of our population is going to pay direct taxes. Do we require a direct tax of that magnitude for individual taxation? Can we not give it as some sort of a wave off for the next 3 years? Can we not look at 5 years if you have paid income tax, aggregate it and say, I'll give you interest-free loan for the next 1 year? We have heard enough of this Samman scheme, right? Samadhan scheme. We have heard all of this. Why not one more, some real Samman scheme where the government says, okay, you have paid 10 lakhs in the last 5 years in the aggregate. I'm ready to pay you 2 lakhs, which you will pay me in the year 2022. That could be a good starting point. This is how I think we need to look at honoring taxpayers. In fact, Mr. Piyush Goyal was bang on when he made the interim budget in February 2019, when he said, thank you very much to the taxpayer. Now it's the time for the government to come back and say, thank you, taxpayer, with a check. With a check is in capital letters. So these are the things that government can do as far as taxation is concerned. As far as GST is concerned, I said postpone the payment part of it. You accumulate the input credit, no point, no problem. That also you take it at a 7.5% interest rate, which is the weighted average interest cost of the Government of India's bonds. I think that would be more than sufficient. I think people want cash flow today. People want to survive. People want to see the water coming below their nose level. And that would give enormous impetus in terms of what the government can do to all of us.
Yes.
I can only state, Fenil bhai, that MRV sir has beautifully put out those points. I think the Feb voter account Piyush ji gave, who's a chartered accountant, and the budget was given by Nirmala ji, who's from Chennai. They should have actually merged the two. Chartered accountant from Chennai and MRV should have been our finance minister. I really hope, sir, that happens one day. And you are able to implement these, wonderful. I really appreciate all this finer points.
I will be the finance minister provided you are the prime minister.
Sir,
you are also from Ahmedabad, so let us have it that way.
Sure, sir.
Gujarat,
no,
yes.
But I'm glad to hear those suggestions, and I can only request you, sir, and we will also do our part, that you can, bounce them off in the right places within the government system. I think very, very valid points that he's raised, especially about liquidity, of how you honor the taxpayers. I think, Bishan bhai, if these are aspects that even the government becomes a partner, then your topic of actually unlocking the lockdown can truly happen.
Yes, sir. And as
क्योंकि
MRP said,
अनलॉक करने के लिए सर चाबी चाहिए, और चाबी सबसे बड़ी एज ऑफ टुडे सरकार के पास है.
and sir, as MRP said, that government should come in front to acknowledge the taxpayers. I can say that previously in 1947 we have a British government, so they just want to collect tax, they just want to drag it to their country. Now government should say that I am your citizen, I am amongst you, so please give your hand to my hand and try to evolve in this pandemic situation like a bright star. With this, as the time is completed, we are thankful to all our expert panelists.
Thank you.
Aniket Bhai, Suresh ji, and MRP. So we request you to come again. As CEA says, come again. So we will invite you again and again for thinking and as a think tank and your views. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.